The impact of the Israel-Hamas war on both the Arab and Jewish communities in Canada cannot be overstated. With each day, with each picture, video, or grim online posting, we are feeling unprecedented levels of grief, anguish, and sadly anger. And in our mad dash to rally support for our cause, we tend to demonize the other community, focusing on the worst examples as if we too are fighting this war, right here at home in Canada. Our two communities, both of them very well aware of how is it to be discriminated against, are failing to recognize that we could be the first victims of this hate and anger ripping through the social fabric of our cities. This I see as part of a phenomena the brilliant Israeli writer Edgar Keret described in his New York Times article as a deterioration in the human condition. Yes, he's an Israeli writer, I'm an Arab, but maybe we have more in common than what you think. In an attempt to remedy this condition, this podcast aimed to bring Canadian Arabs, Jews, Israelis, and Palestinians as we navigate through our collective trauma and pain to bravely and openly discuss sensitive topics, such as why are we not talking to each other instead of shouting at each other? What's with those charged phrases and how can we uncharge them? Free Palestine, Israel right to defend itself, and my personal favorite, from the river to the sea. What is the impact of this strife on our campuses, on our children? And what about politics? And how are we impacting our own politicians? By delving into these issues with sincerity, honesty, respect, and a great deal of courage, this podcast seeks to unravel misunderstandings and dispel the myths that separate us. In the brilliant Egyptian writer Nael El Toukhi words, as he describes his journey into Hebrew and Israeli literature, he says, "Learning about others can teach us something about ourselves." Maybe writers like Nael and Edgar should rule us instead of our politicians. It is in that spirit of learning about each other. My goal here is not to convince you one way or the other, far from it, but to shed a ray of light on what looks like a very dark period that we're all going through. Maybe you can join us. Maybe you can also be a force to expand that ray of light. In essence, this podcast is a letter from me to Canada. Dear Canada, you deserve better than this. And I think we are better than this. Stick around, I will show you. My name is Ahmed Khalifa. Welcome to the space.